reputed to be haunted, and there's definitely some kind of spirits in here. It's not somewhere open at night. But within this cave they found remains from Neolithic times of bones and food, and they found pottery from Roman times as well, just to prove that this cave has been inhabited for a very long time. Now it's sealed up, but there is a gate at the back where the cave goes deep into the ground, and there are pathways and passageways that go for miles underground here, and there's a few potholes and people do potholing as well as climbing. But we're here to talk about the element of earth. So I've come to talk near this beautiful rock, which is limestone, and it's weathered and pockmarked, but still beautiful. So today I'm going to talk about the earth element, and we find the earth element in the north of the circle, and it is the place of winter and June. It is the time of gestation and when seeds are underground beginning to fertilise. There are some seeds that need the frost of winter to actually germinate, things like bluebells. So when we're talking of the earth element, we're talking about the beginnings of growth, the cause before the effects, and we turn within to inner darkness to fertilise new plants, new growth in this time of repose. When we work with the element of earth, we're working with life and physical being. So we're here talking about things such as the health of the body, the bones, the bloods, and here we're also formulating wealth and stability. And the guardians of earth are, amongst others, they are the gnomes and the dwarves, and beings that are said to live deep underground. The ancients knew about earth energies, and they built stone circles aligning with dragon ley lines. And these ley lines acted like acupuncture points to raise energy in certain locations and to focus energy in certain points. And by working with that earth energy, we can plug down into our roots to raise our energy higher. And this is the sense of Kundalini. You cannot raise your Kundalini unless you are grounded. A simple grounding exercise is to imagine from your belly as you breathe in deeply, roots going down, deep down into the earth. And I like to see them when they get to the core of the earth wrap around a molten ball of metal, almost like a big lump of iron. And then you can draw this energy up through your body to fill yourself, to make yourself feel grounded and stronger and more powerful. The gnomes were workers in the dark. They worked through the messy, sweaty, hard labour to find the jewels and the wealth of life. And so they understand that wealth is achieved through hard work, through dirt, through graft. But within that hard work, within that dirty, dark place, find the jewels of existence. You can find the metals and the precious ores of life. Here we understand that they were great craftsmen, and so that when we're looking for wealth, we're also speaking of beauty, and they appreciate beauty. They understand that intrinsic value comes with craft and with skill. And these things are highly prized by the dwarves, by the gnomes, and by the earth spirits. So when you're creating your tools, do your best to create beautiful, elaborate, skilled craftsmanship and this will be appreciated by the spirits. The dwarves are said to party hard and to like a good drink, and they like earthy border humour. So here we've got to understand that the being of physicality is to be enjoyed, and also to work hard, to dance hard, to sweat hard. These things help us with earth elements, with our physical body and with ground. And in our body is where we find our power absorbed. Oh, hello little Robin. Oh, hi, aren't you gorgeous? Can I film you? You do. Come here. Where are you, woodpecker? I'm being disturbed by a woodpecker. I got interrupted there by a robin and a woodpecker. I don't know if you could hear the woodpecker. It seems to have gone away now. But this reminds me that when we're talking of earth, we're talking of our animal cells. And also here we're talking of shape-shifting and animal totems, and what we call power animals these days. So we can align ourselves with an animal spirit. And in the place of north, of course, is the North Star, which is the bear, or Arcturus. And he is the great king. He's the spirit of the goddess, and he is the great protector. So when we enter the dark, when we enter the womb of the mother, we're seeking healing on a physical level and power on a physical level. And here we can also meditate, and meditating in the dark, of course, will open our third eye. And so we have to be linked to our body to be able to transcend our body to fly higher. So in the darkness we're working with the Underworld goddess, and we're also working with the god in his underworld journey. But the Underworld goddess is a dark goddess. She is chthonic, she is scary almost. She's related to dragons and dragon power and serpents. She is the cause before the effect, and here when we work with the element of earth, we are working on our self-healing to bring about change. We're working on ourselves and doing the shadow work, the self-work that brings about healing. We have to face the darkness sometimes, and winter can be hard. Sometimes we have to face the sadness. Sometimes we don't feel wonderful. Sometimes the weather is depressing, we are depressed, and we have to fight for the energy to go on in some ways. We have to find the inner strength. So in the underworld we're working with the energies of death and of rebirth. Some things sometimes have to die in order to bring about changes. Here we're working with snake energies, with Kundalini, and snakes will crawl away into a dark space, into a cave, into a hole underground to shed their skin. And it said they slough their skin off by rubbing against the harsh surface of the rock until their skin has peeled away. They go into a trance, the eyes glaze over, and when they've finished they are born anew into a new skin, leaving their old skins behind. Snake energy, of course, is related to Caduceus and the two intertwining snakes, the dark snake and the light snake, that brings about balance and healing, which is the staff. In the deep dark caves we will find crystals, we will find gems, we find ores, but they're deep underground. But here we're going into form, and crystals will shape geometrically. So rubies have 6 facets, crystals generally have 6 sides. Some crystals are shaped in rhomboid shape, some are shaped in tetrahedrons. So here we can also work with sacred geometry, and sometimes we can work in a circle. Instead of having 4 directions around us, we can place 6 elements, 6 directions, 6 candles, 6 crystals, and work with the star tetrahedron. Now the star tetrahedron is the Merkaba, which is our body energy. It is our finite and our infinite selves combined. And it said if we have control of our star tetrahedron, we can change our realities. So in the dark and in the cave, we're working with our animal selves, and we have to talk to our animal selves sometimes to bring about healing. It's like we have a lower self, a middle self, and a higher self. Our lower self is the part that needs to change the programs. Sometimes it runs on old programs that it was fed when it was young. It's like our inner child. Sometimes you can see it as a fearful wild animal, or you can see it as a very young child. And we have to be able to speak to this programmed part of us in order to bring about change. We have to be able to persuade it why it needs now, giving it love, giving it care, giving it understanding, why it needs now to change some of those programs. So this lower self is what we approach first to bring about any magic, to bring about any healing, to make any change or transformation in life. We all have an animal spirit, and you can go into trance to find what your animal familiar is, and then you can address it, then you can work with it in that form, giving it a name, giving it care, giving it attention, finding out what it needs, sometimes being in charge of it, not letting it be in charge of you. Then when you've approached the lower self, you are free to raise that energy to the higher self. And in that spirit we work on the underground journey. We travel through the deep dark. You can choose a real location such as this cave. Imagine yourself entering the cave, travelling deep underground. Maybe you'll meet the dark serpentine goddess, the dragon goddess. Maybe you will be led by your power animals. But here, this is how we change the cause that creates the effect, by working in this dark underworld with the dark goddess and with our animal selves. So in the place of winter we have Yule. Wow, butterfly. transformation as an unseasonally late butterfly. Look. How very odd to see a butterfly in December. And of course a butterfly enters a cocoon to transform into its beautiful winged self. So it's very analogous. I can't believe I saw a butterfly in December. It's quite warm today. Might have a shock tomorrow. But hey. So I just want to take you inside this cave just to experience it. I'll do that. As you feel entering away from the light into the darkness, which is where we begin to see with our inner eyes and our senses, and of course with cave paintings we feel that they were doing some kind of ritual work in caves. It's a great place to transform your consciousness because it's so dark in here. Sense the inner darkness. The acoustics, of course. I don't know if you can see this drop of water. These drops of water are what have formed these caves. They form stalactites and stalagmites. It's a slow formation of the bones of the earth over millions of years. And here we lit fires to keep us warm, and we entered the caves to give us shelter. And we saw caves like the womb of the mother. Although you can't really see it. I've got a candle, so I might have to go. Going right back here is the passageway. I'm going to try that with the candle. And deep into the caverns underground.